Should be a special night tonight here at the campus of Winnebago Lutheran Academy. Good Tuesday evening to you. Jordan King with you here on WLA TV. So glad to have you along as we will catch Flyway Conference action between the WLA Vikings and the North Fond du Lac Orioles, and in the process, honor Flyway royalty. A couple of Flyway members, former Flyway player and a current Flyway coach, getting inducted into the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame just yesterday. And coincidentally enough, it happens the day before the Orioles make the trip here to WLA. So we'll honor both Steph Schmitz, Janke, and Gary Kuehl. Coach Kuehl of North Fond du Lac in his 31st season with the Orioles. Couple of state championships, 400-plus wins for Coach Kuehl, and he brings a North Fond du Lac squad that coming into this game is 5-14 on the season, just 45.6 points per game, third last in the Flyway Conference at a 3-6 mark in conference play. WLA comes into the game 13-4, 7-2 in conference play. Their only two losses to the two teams right above them, Laconia and Springs, who hook it up just across town up on the hill. Laconia makes the trip over to Springs in what is a very tough week for Laconia. We'll talk a little bit about that, I'm sure, as the game goes along. But gonna highlight those two those two individuals, Steph Schmitz, who is now Steph Janke, and Gary Kuehl this evening. So we'll do that in just a couple of minutes. Right after the national anthem, Athletic Director Brad Bendix will have an announcement for you that will stream here on WLA TV, and then throughout the night we'll mention some statistics. You go back and you look at some of the numbers that Steph Schmitz was able to put up, Steph Janke was able to put up. I'll interchange them, so I apologize if that offends some of you. Whatever. We'll just go with Steph Janke. But she was Steph Schmitz when she was playing here. You go back and look at some of the numbers she put up, and they are eye-popping. We'll give them a little bit of context throughout the night, but by far the greatest player in WLA history, boys or girls, and had some great moments at the collegiate level down at Drake University as well. So a lot to get to tonight. A celebration of a couple of awesome individuals that have contributed greatly to the history of the Flyway Conference. And then there's a basketball game as well, and we'll get that too, between the Eric Schroffnagel-led Vikings and the WBCA Hall of Famer, Coach Gary Kuehl and his Orioles. All of that coming up. Starters, anthem, and a celebration. All up in a couple of minutes. Stay with us on WLA TV.
Winnebago Lutheran Academy welcomes you to this evening's Flyway Conference basketball game between the Orioles of North Fond du Lac And the Vikings of Winnebago Lutheran Academy. Winnebago Lutheran Academy, North Fond du Lac High School, and WIAA require good sportsmanship and education-based sporting events. Attendance at interscholastic activities is a privilege with the expectation to exhibit positive and respectful behavior. For the enjoyment and respect of all in attendance, your cooperation in demonstrating the high ideals of sportsmanship is expected and greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please stand, remove your hats, and join us in honoring America and those who protect it with the playing of our national anthem. Tonight we are privileged to recognize two members of the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame class for 2022. Let's give a round of applause for the recently elected coach of the North Fond du Lac Orioles, who has 414 career wins, Gary Kuehl. The second inductee here tonight was a WA girls basketball player from 1994 to 1998. She is WA's all-time leader in points, 1,589, steals, 413, and assists, 125. She went on to play at Drake University, where she played 4 years and helped them advance to a Sweet 16. She also served as assistant coach at both Drake and for the Wisconsin Badgers. As a player, we knew her as Steph Schmitz. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Steph Janke. It's time to meet the lineups for this evening's game. First, for the Orioles, a 5'3" sophomore, number 1, Lily Idle. A 5'6" senior, number 12, Bree Rock. A 5'8" sophomore, number 13, Lauren Stepbacher. A 5'4" senior, number 24, Jamie Catania. And a 5'8" senior, number 33, Caitlin Bretzlaw. Once again, the Orioles are coached by Gary Kuehl.
Want to welcome you back in here to the campus of WLA, and glad to have you along here on a special night. You just heard the celebration there, the honoring of a couple of WBCA Hall of Famers, North Fond du Lac coach Gary Kuehl and Steph Schmitz Janke. Again, just a hat tip to WLA for putting together something. This was announced late yesterday afternoon, so not a whole lot of time. I know coming up a little bit later on in February, North Fond du Lac is going to honor Gary Kuehl at a boys basketball game, 24th of February. And then I started thinking about some of the great conference coaches that the Flyway Conference has. We'll talk a little bit about that as the night rolls on. We'll probably have some time to get into that during some timeouts, dead ball situations, but I really do want to focus on some of that this evening. It's not often that your conference gets to celebrate a Hall of Fame induction, let alone two of them on the same night, and that's what the Flyway Conference gets to do. with the inductions of these two into the Hall of Fame of the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association. Starters for the North Fond du Lac Orioles: number 1, Lily Heidel; 12, Bree Rock; 13, Lauren Stetbacher; 24, Jamie Catania; and 33, Caitlin Retzloff. The starters for the Vikings remain unchanged from the majority of the season: Shea, Nell, Kuski, Cole, and Pino out there for the Vikings. Tip won by North Fond du Lac into their offensive set. Here's the leading scorer in the Flyway Conference. That's what's perhaps missed a little bit. That's how I would have started the open, as Pino gets an early block and the rebound down to the birthday girl, Siri Kuski. And Vikings have their first possession. But had we not been honoring a couple of Hall of Famers, probably would have started with this matchup includes the top 3 scorers in the Flyway Conference: Lindsay Nell, Kiera Shea, and Shea gets going here quickly with a pair of points and a 2-0 lead for the Vikings. And then Bree Rock. Rock leads the Flyway Conference. She averages 18.6 points per game. That's an eye-popping number for this far into the season. North Fond du Lac's played 19 games, so for her to have that kind of number is pretty impressive. And then we'll talk about how that number over the course of a 2022 season really doesn't even begin to compare with what Steph Janke did for the Vikings when she played here from 94 to 97, or 98, pardon me. Top of the key, Vikings with a 2-0 lead, shut the Orioles down in the first couple of possessions, and they're going to keep it here on a deflection. Lindsay Nell averages 16.1 points per game. Kiera Shea's at 15-2. Two leading scorers for the Vikings, and the second and third leading scorers in the Flyway Conference. Eerily quiet here early on between these two, and the gym doesn't have a ton of life to it. The boys up playing at Kuehl, so a little bit smaller of a student section certainly, and the energy isn't quite there tonight on a Tuesday evening. First day in February, and that usually marks the beginning of the end of the spring sports or the winter sports season. You try to keep it going as long as possible, and Shea, speaking of as long as possible, not able to get that one in. Whistled for the 5-second call underneath. Nice defense on that set by North Fond du Lac. Here's Stetbacher, and she'll cross Kiera Shea over. Shea's still averaging 4.3 steals per game, and that leads the Flyway Conference. Here's Rock. She gets it back there to Catania, who's between the circles, finds Stetbacher. Rock's in the corner. Instead, it's going to be a triple. Stetbacher, that one's strong. Rebound tracked down by Kuski. She finds Shea on the outlet, and the Vikes are headed the other way. They'll be between the circles. Bounce it to Kuski. Kuski, couple of dribbles. Cole, who drives. She's doubled. Nice job by North Fond du Lac with this zone. Kind of a 3-2 zone. Here's Lindsay Nell for 3. She's the leading three-point shooter for the Vikings in terms of percentage. She's shooting 40% on the season, and that number is going to go up after she hits that one. Nell's got 3, just her first points of the night, and that's kind of what Coach Schroffnagel was talking about. Nell's not someone who's just going to come down and throw up threes. Here's a 3 for Kiera Shea, and Shea can't get it to go. Offensive rebound by the conference's leading rebounder, Abby Cole, and the Vikes are out to an early 7-0 lead. Here's Rock in the backcourt. She's guarded by Kuski near side. This is Heidel. Heidel finds a cutting Catania down the left side of the lane, and she finishes. That's a nice set from the Orioles to get their first points of the game. Just talking to Coach Schroffnagel, going back and finishing that point on Lindsay Nell. She's worked really hard in the offseason, spent a lot of time in the gym. As she turns it over here, has it poked away, and a nice play on the defensive side by Bree Rock. But in early mornings, late nights, getting shots up, and she's become a much better jump shooter as the Vikings able to turn the Orioles over once again. And here's Cole into the front court. Cole lobs it over to Kuski. She's able to tip it to herself and keep it in play. Not a double dribble there, as she never controlled it the first time. Here's Nell. Kicks it back out to Cole, swings it to Kuski. Kuski's found it a little bit more difficult offensively as of late, but still a key part of this Viking squad. Up ahead, this is Heidel. Heidel almost blocked, but that's a nice finish on the right side for Lily Heidel. So a 4-0 run for the Orioles after the Vikes jumped out to a 7-0 lead. And Cole thought about stepping into a triple there. Here's Pino. Miscommunication with Kuski, and it's tipped away. Catania has it deflected by Kiara Shea, who stepped out of bounds before she could save it. So a little bit of sloppiness here on the last couple of possessions for the Vikings. That'll prompt the inclusions of Peyton Chemnitz and Maddie Lair into the game for the Vikings. Just 4 minutes into this one, Catania finds Stetbacher. Down underneath to Rock, tipped away by Peyton Chemnitz. Here's Shea. Shea down the lane, up with the floater and hits. Kiara Shea's got 4, a couple of layups for her as she gets going. Shea has been much, much more effective. She is on a scoring streak like we would have expected a little bit earlier in the season for Shea. She's had a couple of 20-point outings in recent times. A couple of them, though, coming in losses. Here is Heidel. Nice bounce pass to Catania. Back to Heidel on the left side, up with the right hand. Good. And Lily Heidel has 4 of the 6 for the Orioles. Coach Schroffnagel doesn't like it. He'll take a full timeout. So, again, talking about a couple of Hall of Famers, and we're going to keep it here for most of these full timeouts here this evening. Talk about these two. Talk about Coach Kuehl first, North Fond du Lac. You know, I'm too young to remember the state championship squads that he had in 1997 and 2000. But you don't have to search very long or very hard, really, to hear the stories, passion, commitment to excellence from Coach Kuehl. And the fact of the matter is, you don't stumble your way to 414 wins. You certainly don't just luck into a state championship, let alone 2 on accident. And I've often heard about Coach Kuehl's tireless scouting on nights that his Oriole teams aren't competing, and it's resulted in a storied career. So just want to pass along our congratulations to him, everyone here at WLA-TV, and a very well-deserved inclusion into our state's Hoops Hall of Fame, WBCA Hall of Fame. So out of the timeout, Coach Schroffnagel wants to clean things up. His team started with a 7-0 run, and since then it's been all North Fond du Lac. That one almost turned over from Lair. Nice job by Chemnitz to keep it. Bounce pass from Nell over to Shea. Shea's going to float it up. That one doesn't crawl over the front edge. And on the offensive glass, once again, Abby Cole. Cole averages 9.4 rebounds per game. As I mentioned, that is tops in the Flyway Conference. And she's earned herself 4 points, all off of second chance points. Catania finds it here near side Retzlaff. Back to Rock. Rock has yet to get going. She's going to look for the 3 balls. A very, very good shooter is Rock. And see if she can get going here. She's going to launch one up from the left wing. That's her kind of shot, and she hits it. Bree Rock's first points of the night comes after WLA goes underneath a screen. And that's the kind of shot, as I mentioned, she's looking for. Nell has that one swatted away. Vikings not using the ball fakes as effectively as they were yesterday. Here's another Rock 3. She stepped into that one, thought she might have hit it. She kind of gave it the shooter's trot, as I call it. You kind of do that little skip backwards when you think you hit it. But she didn't on that one. A little bit strong. Good rebound by the Vikings, but they turn it over yet again. This one was a errant bounce pass from Maddie Lair. Heidel gets it to Stetbacher, who crosses once, gets it back to Rock. Rock down the right side of the paint. There, it wasn't even touched by a Viking, I don't think. The referees agree. Rock had a little bit of an inquisitive look on her face. Thought it might have been tipped out. Instead, the basketball going to go back over to the Vikings. 11-9 lead for WLA here. Decent start and a very good response from North Fondy after the Vikes scored the first 7 of the game. Down underneath, nice up and under move by Nell, but she can't finish with the left hand. And fighting for the offensive rebound and earning another possession for the Vikings is Abby Cole. Cole not giving up, tied it up, and it'll stay with the Vikings. Nell going to come over to the bench and get her first breather of the evening, as Jess Pino will check back in for the Vikings. Lucy Hughes is the first substitution, along with Callista Zemer for the Orioles. into the paint. That's Abby Kuehl up with the right hand and finishes. Kuehl leads the Vikings with 6 points, and it's a 13-9 WLA lead. Here's Rock, far side, triple on the way. Looks good, and it is good for Lucy Hughes. She's been on the floor for about 10 seconds, and she's already impacted it with a triple. 13-12 as the Orioles continue a hot streak to start this one. Lair. That's about as far as you'll see the zone extend for North Fond du Lac. Lair drugged the pivot foot, and she turned that one over. Go back to the Orioles with their first chance to take the first lead of the game for North Fondy. Vikings' largest lead was that 7-0 lead I keep droning on about. Here's Rock. She's going to try to hit a 3 to do it. That one misses. And Rock goes 1 for 3 now from three-point land. Here's another triple on the way for Hughes. She's 2 for 2. Lucy Hughes from the same exact spot on the floor. That might have been the same floorboard for Lucy Hughes. And it's the first lead of the night for North Fond du Lac. Vikings couldn't be looking forward to looking past the Orioles to St. Mary's, or Laconia. Laconia's on Friday. And that'll be a big one if the Vikings have any makings of winning a conference championship here in 2021-2022. But the Vikes can't look past the Orioles here. We have a couple of wins in this conference season. Here's a 3-ball from Abby Kuehl. It misses long, and a nice rebound tap to herself from Lauren Stetbacher. That's a good board. Stetbacher into the front court. Down to the short corner to Hughes. Now Stetbacher's going to shoot a 3. That one misses short. Good rebound down to Abby Kuehl. She's got several of them already this evening. Kiera Shea into the front court for the Vikings. Down to Jess Pino in the corner. And Abby Kuehl strong with the ball. Once you get into that painted area, they just swarm down with 2 or 3 players, do the Orioles. Offensive rebound from Pino. She gets it to Kuehl, but she's fouled as she's doing it. So that'll be the 3rd team foul, I believe, on North Fond du Lac. And Zemer picks up her first. Kuski and Nell back in for the Vikings. First action here tonight for McKenna Conkey. Just the 2nd team foul for the Orioles, by the way. Here's Nell. Back to Shea. Shea, 3. This one's deep from Kiera Shea. She's hit the 3s recently. Here's a long 2. This foot was on the line there for McKenna Conkey. Heidel just about does keep it in play. That's a nice play by Lily Heidel, who keeps it into Rock, who finds Hughes. Hughes on the corner, or the wing, where she hit a couple of 3s already. She's got 6. Back out to Bree Rock. Hughes, Stetbacher working on Kiera Shea. Down the lane goes Stetbacher. This is strong, and the one-handed rebound is stabbed by Pino. Gets it the outlet pass to Kiera Shea, who tries to end the Viking drought, but instead her attempted layup goes under the underside of the rim. Here's Rock, who gets free underneath, and she's fouled. Head back to the free throw line for the first trip tonight for North Fondy for Bree Rock. Rock's got 3. Hit that triple on the left wing. Couple of rhythm dribbles for Rock, and she misses the first one. A little bit flat on that shot. Now, good shooter is Rock. Talked about that earlier, talking to Coach Strafnagel. You just got to make sure you don't blow any assignments, because Rock finds ways to get free, uses a lot of screens as well, and if that's the case and you blow the assignment, she's going to punish you. She's too good of a shooter. You can't miss assignments when Bree Rock is the recipient. Siri Kuski and Kiera Shea were not only not on the same page, they weren't even reading the same book there, as Shea was almost on the block by the time Siri Kuski threw the pass. 1-3-1 look for the Vikings here, as this is the first defensive change for them, and Kiera Shea goes flying around the front court. Here is Rock. She hit the 3. Rock's second 3 of the night, and she's got 7. 6-point North Fond du Lac lead. This has been a 13-point swing in about the last 6 or 7 minutes. Strong play by Nell. Underneath to Cole. Finds Nell. She's fouled. Bump there by Bree Rock. That's the third team foul. And it'll be underneath. Just the first for Rock. Under 8 minutes left to play here in the first half. Here's Nell. Nell has it taken away. That's a nice play underneath by Retzlaff. Into the front court come the Orioles, and Heidel finishes. She's got 6 points. Another full timeout from Coach Strafnagel as he doesn't like what he sees. Largest lead for either team tonight. It's an 8-point North Fond du Lac Oriole lead. Stay with us here on WLA-TV. We'll come back with more right after this. Back here on WLA-TV, the Vikings and the Orioles, and it's an 8-point lead for North Fond du Lac. North Fondy is part of a 21-6 run for the Orioles, and they lead it by 8. Here's Lindsay Nell on the right wing, top of the key three, thought about by Abby Cole. Now a long two is launched by Abby Cole, and Cole's keeping the Vikings in it early here. She's got 8. Here's Rock in the backcourt, picks up her dribble, tipped away by Shea. Now it's with Heidel. Heidel dribbles through a couple of Vikings, almost tipped away by Shea once again. Underhanded pass shoveled to, that was Retzlaff. Here's Rock. And the Vikings staying in the 1-3-1. Down there, that's number 24, that's Catania who got free underneath. Vikings deflect another one. It's going to stay with North Fondy. So can WLA figure it out defensively and perhaps more importantly get the offense going in the process? That's tipped away by Kiera Shea. Heidel able to recollect. Lobbed it over here to Stetbacher underneath to Rock. Blocked by Lindsay Nell. That's a nice play by the sophomore Nell who collects it and is into the front court on the right side. Right hand dribble, going to look for Cole in the corner. Abby Cole thought about the three. That's a good ball fake. Better that time from the Vikings. But now, that was not a ball fake from Kiera Shea. Gets tipped out. It'll stay with the Vikings. When WLA uses their ball fake, and I'll tell you what, if you tune into the Laconia game on Friday or you make the trip over there to Rosendale, if WLA doesn't use ball fakes, they're going to lose the game with that pressure and the length of Laconia with their trapping press. Down the lane goes Nell. She's hammered by Retzlaff and will head back to the free throw line as she has so often this season. She's had to make a living at times going to the free throw line with the physicality of the Flyway Conference. She shoots it at a 62% clip. First free throw for Nell is no good. It was an early lead for Laconia last time I checked up there at Springs. Second for Lindsay Nell, rattles around and does fall for Lindsay Nell. She's got 4 points. Stetbacher lobs one into the corner. That's Catania. Skip pass to Rock. Rock back to Stetbacher, who goes quickly back to Rock. Here's Catania underneath to Retzlaff. Did she touch it? She did. She just tipped it, and it went out of bounds. So back over to the Vikings. This 1-3-1 defense, different look, has so far stumped the Orioles. Here's Nell, thought about the triple. Underneath has Chemnitz. Instead goes top of the key for Abby Kuehl. Here's Nell once again. Chemnitz working hard underneath there. They got to find Peyton Chemnitz at some point underneath. That's a nice job by Abby Kuehl once again to tie it up. She is dynamite on the offensive glass, is Abby Kuehl. And that time the arrow points in the favor of the Orioles, but once again staying active there. Here's Heidel, crosses Shea a couple of times. That's tipped away by Chemnitz. Shoveled here to the corner. Rock open for three. This one just a little bit strong, but it was dead on from Bree Rock. Bounce pass. Oh, that's tipped away. That's a nice play by Maddie Lair to tip it away from Caitlin Retzloff, and it's coming back the other way. Vikings trying to inch a little bit closer than 5 points to this North Fond du Lac squad. Here's Chemnitz in the short corner. Tries to look back to Lair, instead collected by Cole, who shoots the jumper. Offensive rebound. Looked like she was fouled. She was not. That was short. Rebound down to Stetbacher, who has it blocked. That was actually Heidel who had it blocked by Lindsay Nell. Nell in trouble here. Lobs it up to Lair. Pardon me. Left wing three on the way. This one's good for Kiera Shea. Vikes made a couple of substitutions that stumped me there for a second. We got it figured out. Kiera Shea ends up with the three. She's got 7. Down to the corner with Heidel. Almost tipped away from Retzloff. That's a nice play, but she doesn't finish. Offensive board, and Retzloff takes care of it on the second time of asking, and that's her first 2 points of the game, and that ends a 6-0 Viking run. As the Vikes get back into this one, down by just 4 points. Here's Cole in the middle of the paint. Got to get rid of it and get out of the paint. She does so. Here's a triple from Peyton Chemnitz. She hit it. Peyton Chemnitz with a rare triple. She's 1 for 5 this season from 3. Make it 2 for 6. After that one goes down, Chemnitz not able to get the pick there as Rock looks to the near side. Stepbacher. That's Catania. Skip pass to Rock. Got to be careful. Can't sag too far off of Bree Rock on the weak side. Here's Heidel. She's trapped. Tipped. Into the passing lane goes Shea. She's able to save it. Reestablishes. Gets in. Oh, my goodness. That is so good from Kiera Shea. She tips it away, tips it into play, runs out of bounds, reestablishes, and finishes underneath with the right hand. Vikes have the lead. They're now on an 11-2 run, and that is heaved into the student section by Stetbacher. Terrific job by the Vikings to not only get back into this, to take the lead. Now can they extend it before heading into half? Here's Nell in the corner. Skip past to Chemnitz. Looks to Shea in the corner. Here's a triple on the way. Deep offensive rebound. Cole. Shovel pass. Kiera Shea finishes underneath once again. She's the first player this evening into double figures for either squad, as she has 11. Heidel, one-hand pass down here to the corner. Hughes is back into the game. She's hit a couple of threes, as has Rock. Rock on the drive, spins up against Chemnitz. That's a nice play by Bree Rock, and Rock now into double figures. Check that, she's at 9, getting close. 26-25, Lair has it, kicks it out, triple on the way. This one's good for Abby Cole, and 4 different Vikings have hit three-pointers, and the Vikes lead it by 4. Crossing over is Heidel. There's a timeout from Coach Kuehl, and the Vikes currently on a 16-4 run to respond to the 21-6 run that North Fondy was on earlier in the half. Well, let's see here. What do you want to start with? Points, assists, or steals? Career points for Steph Janke for the Vikings, 1,589 points. In fact, if you only take her 1996 and 1997 seasons, she would rank 4th in scoring in Viking history. And now that is not to disparage the great players that WLA girls basketball has had over the years. That is just to tell you how dominant she was over all 4 years of her career, but specifically 95 and 96 when she scored 904 points in those 2 seasons underneath Heidel, and it was a jump ball. Nice defense by the Vikings. So there's the first mind-boggling stat. The difference between first place and second place on the WLA career scoring list is 622 points. No other girls player has made it to 1,000 points in program history. And Schmitz was, well, by the end time she was done, she was closer to 2 than she was to 1,000 points. We'll keep going with those fun nuggets because there are some eye-popping statistics for her in her WLA career. Stetbacher off her hands. The pass from Heidel was a little bit tall for Lauren Stetbacher, and it'll go back over to the Vikings, working on this 16-4 run and a 4-point lead. Just 2 minutes left here. It'll tick under 2 on this possession. Here's Lair. Has Cole in the corner. Now going to find Cole on the bounce pass. Lobbed underneath to Nell. Nell fakes it one way, does a hook shot the other, and it was not very close for Nell that time. Not often you see her miss that badly on something in the lane. She's normally very efficient. Shoots it, I want to say near 50%. Yeah, 45%. Lindsay Nell. North Fond du Lac had it underneath, but not able to capitalize and turn it back over once again. The Vikes have gone to this 1-3-1 look, and it's given North Fondy some issues. North Fondy's staying with the 1-2-2 zone on their defensive side. And the Vikes have been a little bit better in the recent, well, couple of minutes here to capitalize and get into good positions. Here's Chemnitz. Throws that one up. No good. And Cole not able to get that offensive rebound as Rock collected it for the Orioles. Rock also a very good rebounder. She averages 8.4 boards, which is top 5 in the Flyway as well. Here's a 3. This one's on the way. No good. A little bit strong. Nice rebound by Heidel. Offensive board. Lobbed underneath to Rock. Rock can't get that one to go. It's tipped up by Cole. Ends up with Retzlaff. No, Rock. And it gets tipped around once again. Here's Stetbacher. Thought about the 3. Now down the lane she goes. Up with the right hand on the left side. No good. Cole gets this rebound, and she's into the front court. Down the left side of the paint. And a jump ball. Well, that is a cop-out call there. I mean, I'd like to say something else, but that's not a jump. There's too much contact there, but yeah, we'll move on. 29-25, and nonetheless, I think you probably had to call a block or a charge there, or you can call a jump, I guess. I've seen travels called there, but not jumps. Oh, that was over and back, as Stetbacher thought Rock was in the front court, but Rock had not yet established both feet in the front court, so the Vikings do get it back just 8 seconds after turning it over. See if the Vikes just want one possession or if they're going to push it here a little bit quicker. Shea to the free throw line, kicks it to Cole. Cole on the left side. Top of the key, Kuski. She hasn't scored yet this evening. Chemnitz bounces back to Shea. Ooh, careful down there in the corner. Bounces to Nell. Tipped around, ends up with Abby Cole, and another jump ball. I mean, none of these tie-ups in the first half have been long enough to be jump balls. Well, I'll just say that. This isn't B-team basketball. This is high school hoops. Nell gets her spot. She's going to shoot the jumper. Misses. Tipped by Abby Cole, and it's going to go back to North Fondy. I mean, there's a difference between a block and a jump. If you block the ball, it's a block. It's not a jump ball. But perhaps I missed a rule change. That's what I'll assume. Rock has that one tipped away by Nell. Nell into the front court. 7 seconds left. Gotta hurry. Bounces down to Shea. Shea over her right shoulder. Can't get it to go. Offensive rebound. Is there enough time? There is for Abby Cole to hit her 5th, check that, 6th field goal of the first half. She's got 13, and the Vikes will take a 6-point lead into the halftime break. 31-25, they'll put 10 seconds on it and start it up. Entertaining first half there, pretty sloppy, I would say, all things considered. Both teams battling through some pretty big scoring runs. 21-6 run. Well, the Vikings started it with a 7-0 run and a 21-6 run at one point in that first half for North Fond du Lac, and the Vikings closed the half on an 18-4 run to reclaim a 6-point advantage. We'll add up some numbers here, come back, talk a little bit more about our Hall of Famers, and continue. You're watching on WLA TV. Stay with us. Back here, the campus of Winnebago Lutheran Academy. Jordan King with you. Halftime. Vikings lead at 31-25. Currently working on an 18-4 run. For the Orioles there in the first half, 2 points apiece for Jamie Catania and Caitlin Retzloff. Lily Heidel and Lucy Hughes both had 6. And the leading scorer in the Flyway Conference, Bree Rock, had 9 points there in the first half, well on her way to her season average, or should I say pretty much right on the way to her season average of 18.9 points per game. For the Vikes, 3 for Chemnitz, 4 for Nell, 11 for Kiera Shea, and 13 for Abby Cole. Talking about Steph Janke, who is one of the latest, one of the class of 2021-2022 Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame, along with Coach Gary Kuehl from North Fond du Lac, who's on the sideline tonight for the Orioles. Well, should we keep it with points? Steph Schmitz from a season, or Steph Janke from a season perspective in points. Her 3 highest point-getting seasons, 95, 96, 97. In 1995, that was her worst of the 3. I say worst. She had 360 points. To put that into perspective for you at home, if you watched last season's WLA Vikings squad, you saw Elena Supernand. Last year, Elena had 360 points. And just to keep in, to put it into perspective and keep in mind with some of these numbers is the games played. Play a lot more games nowadays. And I think that's worth mentioning with all of these. And I'm about to put this into perspective in this season. But that's the third best season, 1995. In 96, that was her best season for Steph Janke. 496 points. 496 in 1996. And then in 1997, the program's third best season, 410 points for Janke. And again, you add those two up, you get to 906 points in 2 seasons, which again would rank 4th in WLA history. This season, Lindsey Nell is averaging 16.1 points per game to lead the Vikings. She's going to play 23 regular season games. Now, you do count postseason, but in 23 regular season games, Lindsey Nell is going to score 370 points. 370 at her current pace. Now, that's on a good pace, and she may not continue at that pace as teams continue to put her in the focal point. But nonetheless, 370. 370. That barely passes the 95 season. It would put Lindsey Nell into 6th all-time in WLA history, which would be a great achievement for her. But my goodness, that just to tell you. And I took the liberty here, and I don't know, and Coach Schroffnagel didn't know how many games they did play. We didn't know a 96 number and 97. So I took a conservative number. I don't know. It might be less than 20, but I just took 20. And if you take 496 by 20 games, that's 24.8 points per game. Now we're seeing that this season from Ethan Cole, that kind of season. If you take 496 by 18 games, now you're up around 27, 28 points per game. Regardless of how many games got played that season, 496 points is an incredible mark and one that will not be touched for a long, long time, I can't imagine, here at WLA. 496, 410, 360, those the 3 highest scoring seasons for Steph Janke. For assists, career, she is 2nd in program history by 10 assists, 307. Her best season, 1996, she had 125 assists. The leader this season for the Vikings is Kiera Shea. She averages 3.7 assists per game, or 3.5 assists per game. You extrapolate that over 23 games. There's a good word, extrapolate. Extrapolate that over 23 games. You get 81 assists. 81 assists. About 60% of what Janke was able to do. 125. Again, you take that 125 and you break that down over 20 games, 6.25 assists per game. And then we'll get into steals in the second half because that, in my opinion, is the most impressive category as you look at the career of Steph Janke, the 2022 Hall of Famer. About ready here for the second half. Glad to have you along. Jordan King with you, WLA TV. Vikings and the Orioles, 6-point lead for the Vikes here to start up the second half. And we'll get going here. Here's Rock, and the Vikings are going to stay in the 1-3-1 zone. Update over at, I think Laconia has Springs doubled up right now, close to the halftime intermission up at Springs. That's a tough place to play. Springs, WLA took a loss there earlier this year. Laconia having no problem tonight. Here's a steal for Kiera Shea. Shea up and under, no, kicks it. Peyton Chemnitz is starting for the Vikings here in the second half. She can't get it to go. She starts for Pinto. Otherwise, the 4 other starters, as they were in the first half, with Kuski, Nell, Shea, and Cole. Here's a 3 from Rock. It's too strong. Offensive rebound, Heidel. She kicks it back out to Rock. Rock finds Stetbacher. Shot fake and shovels it back out to Rock. Better this time from the Vikings to force Rock to reset it, and the Vikes going to get into their 1-3-1 defense. Stetbacher dribbles past Shea. Shea jumping around and back out top of the key. Worth noting, the Vikings did play last night. 20-point win, 71-51 over Oakfield, as Lindsay Nell steps in and gets herself a pick and another steal here this evening. Nell averages about 2.5 steals per game. She is 5th in the Flyway Conference in steals. The Vikes a good defensive team. Down the lane goes now. Oh, Euro step around. Can't get it to go, and she's hacked by Retzlaff. And Lindsay Nell, I think, feeling the effects of that one a little bit. But she bounces right back up, and a bounce pass from Shea into Nell as she sealed off the defender after screening for Abby Cole. She can't get it to go. Nice rebound from Stetbacher. Looks far side, up ahead. Nice skip pass, Heidel underneath, and she finishes. That's a nice play. Good pass as well from Jamie Catania, the senior. Looked near side on the skip pass, and it ended up in a deuce for North Fondy. Here's Nell in the corner. Thought about the 3. Now drives with the right hand. Skip pass to Shea. This is a 3 on the way. This one is short. Offensive rebound. Guess who? Abby Cole. She's got 15. If it's not one of the big 3 of the Vikings, it's another. Shea, Nell, Cole. Those 3 have been so good this season. And it seems like one of them's near 20, one of them's at about 15, and the other's at about 12. That's how they've won a lot of games this season. Underneath Retzlaff, kicks it out to Heidel, and she traveled. It'll go back to the Vikings, who have the 6-point lead. Their lead this evening has been no better than 7. And so a bucket here will change that and extend that out past the 7-point mark as Maddie Lair steps on the floor and replaces Siri Kuski. Near side, it's Nell. Top of the key, Lair finds Chemnitz to Cole. Cole looks underneath to Nell, now back to Chemnitz. Skip pass. No, they're going to go this long, slow way around top of the key. Here's Cole. Triple on the way. It looks short, and it is. But following her own shot, getting the offensive board. Count the basket and the foul. Abby Cole got 4 points to start the second half for the Vikings, and this is the largest lead of the ball game. 35-27, 8-point lead. As Cole will go to the free throw line. Second trip for the Vikings tonight, and Cole hits it, completes the old-fashioned 3-point play, and she's got 18 points. Ooh, barely into the front court goes Rock that time. I don't think Stetbacher was actually into the front court. That was a smart play by her to not completely come into the front court and thus not allow the over and back to get called. Rock misses the 3. Nell down with the rebound. Nell on the far side. Down the lane she goes. Up with the right hand. Can't get it to go. Offensive rebound battled for and won once again. Abby Cole is dominating the glass. This is a 3, and it's hit. Lindsay Nell's hit both 3s she's tried tonight, and she's got 7 points. A little bit of an inauspicious start here for North Fond du Lac, and the Vikings have opened up a 12-point lead. Full timeout from Hall of Fame coach Gary Kuehl. And the Vikes lead it 39-27. Steals, mentioned steals for Steph Janke. She had 413 of them in her career. That is averaging over 100 steals per season. Yeah, that was really tough math. You were all doing that in your head. You're like, yeah, there's the one he gets right. Over 100 per season. Tough one there. Tough one. The difference between that to the next is almost double. 199 better than the second place stealer in WLA history. 413 steals. She had seasons of 81, 87, 100, and 145. We talk about Kiera Shea a lot. We're presidents of the Kiera Shea Defensive Fan Club up here on WLA TV. Fully admit that. If Shea continues at her current pace over a 23-game season, she'll have 99. If you take that 145 in a 20-game season, again, don't know how many games they did play, but if you take it over a 20-game season, it's 7.5 steals per game. 7.5 steals per game. Here is Kiera Shea, who crosses over. She's like, I can steal it too. And she'll go to the free throw line. She's hacked by Heidel. If you go back to the first half, the Vikings' run is now 26-6. 26-6 on the run for the Vikings. And Shea going to the free throw line, to try to extend it. First free throw for Shea is good. That was the 96 season for Steph Janke, by the way. Second free throw for Shea is good, and it's a 14-point lead for the Vikings. In 96, she had 496 points, 145 rebounds, steals, and 125 assists. That's a stat line of averaging a 20-game season. Let's just assume 20. That's averaging 24.5, 6.5, and 7.5 steals in a season. Ridiculous numbers. Ridiculous numbers. I should extrapolate them and say, if she got to play a 25-game season like a lot of these players do nowadays over the course of 4 years, I don't know if she would have gotten to 2,000 points, but goodness, it would have been close. Vikings not able to get it to go there with Abby Cole underneath, and Rock has it into the front court. Still stolen here as she mishandled it by Lindsay Nell up ahead to Shea. Shea bounce pass across the lane. That's a nice play. Very heady play by Kiera Shea. She does that often where sometimes I'm pulling my hair out up here and saying, just score the basketball. But that time the extra pass works out, and Maddie Lair gets a bucket for the Vikes, who now all of a sudden you look up, and they lead it by 16. Here's a three, and it's made by Lily Heidel. Heidel, leading scorer tonight for the Orioles with that shot. All of a sudden, she's up to 11 points, and she is the first Oriole into double figures. Underneath, now looks to the corner with Cole. Cole drives the lane, up with the right hand, no good. Missed that one, battled through some contact, but definitely not a foul. Stetbacher going to launch one from long distance. This one misses, and the rebound down to Nell. She picks her head up, and she's going to run point here in the break. Crosses. C. Parts down the lane. She finishes. Nice play by Lindsay Nell. Strong play underneath. And Nell's got 9. Here's Stetbacher. Stetbacher and Rock lob it over the Viking 1-3-1 defense down to the corner with Catania. She dribbles it and drives. Can't get it to go. Scoops it up with the right hand. Rebound down to Lindsay Nell, and that was kind of the old chair prank you used to pull on your classmates, right, when you were in high school. That was kind of that situation there underneath. And Lindsay now looks like she's okay, so we can chuckle about it at this point. The Vikings going to bring in 3 players off the bench. Lydia Bernhard, McKenna Conkey, and Jess Pino into the game for the Vikes. Shea is the only starter out there for WLA, as she's joined by Conkey Lair, and Conkey just traveled there, and she's got a wry smile on her face after dragging the pivot foot. Vikes lead by 15. It's just a mind-boggling season. That 96 season. Man, if you were out there and got to watch that 96 season, I'm jealous, because the way that Steph Janke impacted the game all the different ways was impressive. To just look back on the stats is entertaining, let alone getting to watch it happen. Here's Maddie Lair, misses. Offensive rebound. Pino is fouled. She is fouled by Stetbacher. And Pino will go to the free throw line. Pino's first free throw misses off to the left. Second free throw for Pino, misses off to the left as well. Conkey fights for the offensive board, and she collects it and then throws it away. That's a nice play by Lily Heidel coming back and getting the steal. Now Shea into the passing lane once again, up with the right hand. Finishing is Kiera Shea. And Shea is up to 15 points herself, right at her season average. Rock lobs it up ahead. This is Zemer. Back to Rock. Triple on the way. This one misses. Rock has not gotten the three-pointer going in the second half. Shot it very well in the first half. I believe she was 2 for 4 in the first half. Here's Bernhard. Triple on the way. That's good. Lydia Bernhard hits the 3. Her first points of the night. Going to draw a timeout from Coach Kuehl as the Vikings push it to a 20-point lead. It's a full timeout. And I'm just going to, once again, for the final time this evening, go over the numbers here for Steph Janke. She was Steph Schmitz when she played here. Seasons, 94, 87 assists. 96, 145 assists. 95 was 100 assists. And 97 was 81 assists. In 96, she had 125 steals. In 95, she scored 360 points. 97, she scored 410 points. In 96, she scored 496 points. Add all those numbers up in the career numbers for categories that she is top 2 in WLA history. Tops in steals with 413. That number doesn't even hardly make sense to me. That number is so big, it almost doesn't make sense. 307 assists, which is second by 10, and then 1,589 points, 622 more than the next best in WLA history, and all of that adds up to a WBCA Hall of Fame induction this year. So congratulations once again to Steph Schmitz Janke, and once again would like to extend congratulations to Coach Kuehl as well from North Fond du Lac, who couple of gold balls in the trophy cabinet as well as 414 victories. Looks like he might be searching for 415 another night as the Vikings have a 20-point lead here this evening. On the near side, collected by Bernhard, gets swung around to Conkey, who's long 2 misses, and a good rebound by Zemer. About 10 minutes left in this one. The Vikes going to stay in the 1-3-1 zone. Bernhard out to defend. Underneath, kicked out, top of the key, Rock. She's going to take Kiera Shea on the dribble. Now it gets swung to the near side with Heidel. That's lobbed into the backcourt. Tracking it down is Kiera Shea, and Shea finishes. Shea's got 17 now, and the Vikes lead is 22. Heidel, that's a dangerous place to stop. She didn't see she crossed half court, stepped back to half court, to the backcourt, pardon me, and turned over. Catania back in for the Orioles. And the Orioles at one point led 21-13, and the Vikes now lead it 52-30 after a couple of Coach Strafnagel full timeouts and then going to the 1-3-1 zone. That really seemed to do the trick for the Vikings as Conkey hits a floater, and it's a 24-point lead for the Vikes. Catania goes through a couple of Vikings, and it ends up with Zemer after it's poked away. Far side, that's Rock. Looking underneath, now a skip pass. 3 on the way for Hughes. That's her spot. She's hit a couple of threes from that right wing, misses that one. But the rebound fought for, and the offensive rebound won by Lauren Ayala. Cole and Nell back in, along with Chemnitz, as Retzlaff checks back in for the Orioles, and she's got it here in the corner. Now Catania, back to Rock. Corner 3 on the way. Rattles around, doesn't go. Ayala with the offensive rebound. She can't get that one to go. Ayala's got a couple of offensive boards here this evening, and Nell's got it on the far side up the floor. Skip pass to Cole. Thought about the 3, now going to drive. Hand off to Chemnitz on the near side. Down to Nell. Skip pass underneath. That's a great pass. Good look from Lindsay Nell to Jess Pino. Pino with a couple of power dribbles, and she's got her first 2 points of the night, as most of the Vikings have gotten in on the scoring action. Rock looks into Ayala at the high post, shuffles it down underneath to Retzlaff, out to Hughes. Nice shot fake down the lane. She goes, can't get the floater to go. Rebound on the far side is with Nell, and the outlet pass out to Abby Cole. Cole spins. Nell thought about the three. Now kicks it to Chemnitz. Chemnitz is going to look underneath to Cole. Nice job by Catania to step into the passing lane. Bounce pass just a little bit too far out the reach of Lucy Hughes, and it'll go back to the Vikings. But North Fonty just not able to put it all together after they did for a stretch there in the first half when they went on a 21-6 run, when everything was going right for them. Since then, not able to put it all together. There's Abby Cole. Cole drives, kicks it to Nell. Nell thought about the three, now going to drive, kick it back to Cole. She's going to shoot the right wing three, and she's going to hit the right wing three. Everything's going right for Abby Cole this evening. Cole's got 21. Should check if that's a season and career high as Bree Rock gets free underneath, and she's finally into double figures. She had been sitting on 9 points since a few minutes left in the first half. She's now got 11. Down the lane goes Cole. Up with the right hand, can't get it to go. Thought she might have traveled there anyway. And the rebound down to Hughes. Hughes into the front court, shovels it back to Rock. Rock dribbles it off of her foot, and it ends up with Bernhard and the Vikings coming the other way. Here's Chemnitz. Bernhard has it between the circles. Top of the key, Nell. Kind of gave the nod there to Chemnitz, like, good cut. I saw you just a little bit late. Bounce pass was a good one underneath to Cole, who got blocked. That was number 13, Lauren Stetbacher, who was able to reject Abby Cole. Hasn't happened a lot for Cole this evening. See if we can get an update over in Kiel, by the way. That's on the Kiel Broadcast Network for the boys' game this evening, as that goes off of the hands of Lydia Bernhard and will be North Fond du Lac basketball. Stetbacher into the front court. Hands to Rock. Top of the key. Oh, that's a good cut by Stetbacher. She got free. Good pass from Catania. Jamie Catania, the seniors, had a couple of just terrific passes. That's the first points for the sophomore, Lauren Stetbacher, who just has not been able to get it going. Stetbacher this season has averaged 13.1 points per game, but just a little bit off here tonight with some of her floaters in the lane, a couple of jump shots that were close, and started to force a few threes too. Far side here is Stetbacher with 6.5 minutes to play. This is Catania. Top of the key, Hughes. Hughes drives the lane, has it poked away by Nell. Steal from Pino, gets it to Nell on the outlet pass. And Lindsay Nell will slow it down, trot into the front court. Look underneath to Pino, now kick it top of the key. Abby Cole is feeling it from deep. She hit another one. She's got 3 of them. And Abby Cole has 24. Starting to look like Ethan Cole out there. I'll tell you what, Ethan Cole might have a shot at a program record if he is able to continue with his hot season. There's a 3 from Lauren Stetbacher. Good response from the Orioles as Stetbacher's got 5. Cole thought about another 3. This time thought better of it. Hands off to Chemnitz. Down the lane goes Jess Pino, who has it blocked, collects her own rebound, kicks it out to Chemnitz, who finds Nell. Far side, Cole's going to try another one. Oh, my goodness. Abby Cole has 4 triples. She's got 27. Is 42 in sight? I don't think so. Obviously referencing that was a carry or a double dribble. They're going to choose double dribble, and it'll go back to the Vikings. Obviously referencing the 42 points that were scored by Ethan Cole earlier this season. I think that might do it for Abby Kuehl as she gets subbed out of this one. Kuehl hit 4 threes, 7 twos. I'll have to re-add that up. She might have a few more points, but I have her for 27 as I count it really quickly. Down underneath, Pino is blocked once again. Yeah, 27 points for Abby Kuehl. I don't know if that's a season high from a Viking individual player or not. I don't only have so much room on my little stat sheet that I don't carry around one of those big cards that you see the pros carry around. I'm not going to waste all that paper. Not that broadcasting WLA girls basketball is a waste. I would never say that. I'm digging myself a hole here, so I'm going to stop talking and tell you what's happening. That 3 is missed by Kiera Shea, tipped around by Jess Pino. Shea gets her own offensive rebound. Far side is Lair, skips it back to Shea. In the corner with Chloe Volbright. Shea has it here, top of the key. This is Bernhard. Lobs it underneath to Pino, and it's out of the reach of Jess Pino. I think Conkey will check in for Kiera Shea, and this will be that. Yeah, that'll be that for the starters here tonight, I would guess, for the Vikings, is now all 5 are on the bench, at least the 5 that started the second half. Pino generally starts for the Vikings, but this evening did not start the second half as Chemnitz started. I would guess that was probably due to the 1-3-1, I would imagine. Down the lane goes Heidel, and that'll be the first foul here of the second half for the Vikings. Volbright with the foul. Down to the corner, Rock, shot fake, down the lane she goes, up with the floater, can't get it to go. Rebound on the near side by Chloe Volbright, who skies for the board and pulls it down. Lair down the lane, nice take by Maddie Lair. Lair's got 4. It's 48-30, and this will stay with the Orioles with 6.5 to go over at Springs. Springs taking care of business. Go to the Kuehl Broadcast Network, and you can do this. I'm just telling you, you can stay here. We'll give you the update. Vikings lead at 54-47 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. I'll tell you what, that's been what I've been as impressed at as anything. Underneath, Rock goes up with it, and she's going to shoot a pair of free throws, followed by Jess Pino. Coach Nell and his group has learned over the course of the season how to grind out results. Games when they aren't scoring 70, 80, 90 points and shooting unbelievable percentages from 3, that's when they struggled. Had a 3-game losing streak where they lost to Kewaskum, Amro, and Springs early on in the season. And all 3 of those games, the common thread was they weren't making three-pointers, they weren't making shots, and the offense really suffered. And I think since then they've found out if the shots aren't falling, what's next? How do we grind out points? How do we still have good possessions if they don't result in us knocking down a triple at the end of them? And the Vikings have been able to do that. Hey, Maddie Lair's got 4 straight points. Maddie Lair. And she's fired up on the defensive side now as well. Here's Heidel with the 3. That misses. Poked away by Retzlaff, collected by Bernhard. Bernhard on that far side. Stops, skip pass. Chloe Volbright's got it. Little jumper here. This one misses. Almost collected by Volbright, and I think they're going to tie it up. Yeah. Good hustle by Chloe Volbright, and it's going to stay with the Vikes. Vikes have a 31-point lead here. With 2 minutes and 52 seconds left. Conkey gets free. Nice pass by Maddie Lair. Conkey can't finish, and Rock brings down the rebound. Rock into the front court. Jump stop. 3, and she hit it in transition. That's a nice shot from Bree Rock. Talking to some people today, that's a shot that back in the day, that's a bad shot. But nowadays, that's a good, I mean, in transition, you stop, you let the defenders fly by you, and you hit the shot. And that's a good shot. Rock's up to 15 points. Jess Pino was fouled by Rock there. And she'll shoot a pair. Pino's 0 for 2 tonight from the line. That one banks in for Jess Pino. She had a bucket earlier. She has 3 now. Vikes now up by 9 over in Kiel. Couple of minutes to go. Second free throw for Pino is good as well. 2 for 4 tonight. As Pino continues to, well, Lair picks up the foul there, trying to defend Rock. I wasn't sure there was any contact there, but I think Lair just got her toe maybe tripped Rock there, and Rock went down to the ground. Here's a long 3 from Bree Rock. This one misses. Tipped around by the Vikings, collected by Conkey. Gets it to Lair. Lair between the circles, between the legs dribble. Lair lobs underneath to Pino, kicks it out to Conkey. This is a 3. This one looks good, but it's deep. And another rebound down to Rock. You can see why she averages 8.6 for boards per game. Like a magnet underneath. This is Jenna Krupp, who lobs it underneath to Rock. Rock straight up and down was Jess Pino, no foul. And collecting it was Conkey. Lair crosses. Minute and a half left. Behind the back dribble for Maddie Lair. She's into the paint. Kicks it out to Bernhard, who's got it on the left wing. Between the circles, Conkey looks underneath to Pino. Now hands to Lair, who goes down the lane up with the floater. Can't get that one to go. Another rebound, Bree Rock. Rock's got, I believe, has the rebounds on the last 4 possessions for North Fond du Lac. Hands off here to Freiberg. That goes off the hands of Krupp, and it goes out of bounds. A little too much steam on that one. Yeah, there's a minute and 8 seconds left, and I think that'll probably be the last action we see of Bree Rock as well. 3 of the best scorers in the conference. You add Abby Cole to that tonight as she has 27. That's banked in from Bernhard. Bernhard's got 6. I'm also going to, the Vikings are shooting the basketball at the right time here from 3. Making shots, not just shooting, making shots from 3 at the right time, right part of the season. They were, well, pretty woeful early on from 3, but they're rounding into shape here. I'll tell you what, here's a nice pass to the far side. That was a good look from Lily Heidel. Not finished. Down the lane goes Jess Pino up with the right hand. Can't get it to go with 22 seconds left. Kicked out to Maddie Lair. She's going to fire up a 3. This one misses. And that'll be the last possession of the game for the Vikings. Last possession in which they try to score at least. Down the lane goes Hughes. And they're going to get a foul. Hughes will go to the free throw line, as I think that was Bernhard who had the block. 33-point lead for the Vikes. Hughes' first free throw up and no good. But as I was saying there, with if you add Abby Cole, there's 4 really good Flyway Conference scorers that you saw here tonight. Second free throw was good for Lucy Hughes. Hughes is going to finish with 7 points, and Maddie Lair is going to finish this one out. Dribbling in the backcourt. I think she's technically got to get it into the front court. Yeah, she will. Avoid the over and back call. Don't want to get that. I'll tell you what, that turnover wouldn't have looked good on the old stat sheet there. 32-point win for the Vikings here this evening. 74-42. Scorers for the Orioles. Lily Heidel had 11. Bree Rock, as I mentioned, had 15 by my count. 5 for Lauren Stetbacher. 7 for Lucy Hughes. Jamie Catania had 2 first-half points, as did Caitlin Retzloff. And that the scoring for the Orioles. For the Vikings, 6 points for Lydia Bernhard. Kiera Shea had 6 second-half points and finished with 17. Jess Pino had all her points in the second half. Pino finished with 4. Lindsay Nell got going a little bit in the second half. Still only needed 9 points from Lindsay Nell to get it done tonight. 6 points for Maddie Lair, 2 for McKenna Conkey, 3 for Peyton Chemnitz, and the high scorer tonight was Abby Cole. Finishes tonight with 27 points. And once again, just want to congratulate both Coach Gary Kuehl of North Fond du Lac and Steph Schmitz Janke from WLA, played here from in the mid-90s, 94 through 98. And both of them were yesterday inducted into the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Both well-deserved. 414 career wins, a couple of state championships for Coach Kuehl. For Steph Janke, she was the career leader in points, 1,500 points back in the mid-90s. 413 steals. That's a number I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. You can make your own statements and superlatives about that number. That is ridiculous to me, especially if you break it down on a per-game basis. Just give you one final update here. You can go over to the Kuehl Broadcast Network to finish this one out. We're not going to stay on air and broadcast someone else's broadcast. I don't feel right doing that. Kuehl Broadcast Network. If you if you want to catch the remainder of that one, but a 58-51 lead. Vikes lead it by 7 over in Kuehl. Hey, join us on Thursday now. St. Mary's Springs coming to town on the boys' side. It is a massive game, and hope you'll join us right here on WLA TV. Ethan Cole continues his chase for the program record in points scored. I think he's closing in on 100 points or so away. He's got some games left to do it. We'll see. A lot to think about, a lot to look at as we go down the stretch here in February. Season's coming down the stretch. Girls Viking basketball with the win tonight. They're going to move to 14-4 on the season. North Fond du Lac drops to 5-16 on the year. In Flyway play, the Vikes will be 8-2, and they will draw level with Springs, who was taking one on the chin to Laconia this evening. So WLA and Springs will be level back at 8-2, and it'll all come down to that season finale for the Vikings and for Springs, I do believe, coming up a couple of Fridays from now. The Vikings and the Ledgers for second place in the Flyway Conference. If Laconia does not slip up elsewhere, the win tonight will, in a way, clinch their Flyway Conference championship, as they just took the 1 year off. But the Vikings still with a chance to put some heat on the Spartans. They'll go there on Friday. Jordan King saying so long. Hope you'll join us on Thursday, as we'll have Springs and WLA right here on WLA TV. Good night.